Yeah, I was thinking maybe we wouldn't do it. That was the whole discussion.
Oh, okay. Welcome
And we're
everybody.
live. Go.
Happy we're live. Happy July 8th, Tuesday. Yeah, we were just talking in the background, and I guess there's not going to be any triumvirate show tonight because Kat is not feeling well. And
Cat's sick.
what would be a triumvirate show
Yeah,
without the try, right?
I know. He had a really bad hairball, so maybe next week. But I think the show would basically be this. It would just be me calling for one more higher low, Matt telling you that everything's gonna be fine, and Cat telling you that everything will probably be fine. He doesn't know. He's just a cat, and that's the show. But the main message is that we are at a point where the heart of the wave three is about to take over. And I know it seems like we've been talking about this for like a year now, but we're actually almost there. And the wave three will take prices up remarkably higher. And then I'm going to tell you in a little bit after Matt's done with the indices why I think this year will be profitable but choppy. Go ahead, Matt, take us away.
Yes. So let's just take a look at the SPY. We can see that it's all-time high territory week over week. The past 3 weeks, it has been just sitting in all-time high territory. I have this black line really here to demonstrate that if there were to be a back test, it would probably be back down towards the 610 zone or a little bit lower to back test the previous breakout range. So I'm not sure if that's going to come this week, next week, or next month, whenever, but I do suspect that will get back tested before any continuation higher to the resistance above, maybe that 2.272 fib of at 647. So I think we're just kind of range bound at the moment. I'm not sure we're going to keep breaking into new all-time highs day after day. So again, caution up here and expect a back test in the weeks to come. QQQ, same situation.
Wait. Don't. Oh. I just want to comment that huge gap in the SPY and the QQQ that you can see there, I think it'll get filled, but it's not going to get filled until after we've peaked at wave five. So we're going to come back to that during the correction phase. So don't look for that to get filled anytime soon, in my opinion. All right, sorry, Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. And yeah, QQQ, same situation. It's not continuing to go higher highs and to all-time high territory this week so far. So perhaps a back test is coming as well, down to maybe the 537 or a little bit lower. So I think things are just going to be range bound for a little bit between all-time highs last week and maybe some lower lows this week. So range bound, nothing exciting until we get some sort of back test before we're able to go higher. IWM is actually stabilizing on top of some interesting levels here. And this interesting level that I have is actually the previous 2021 high and that low down here in 2023. And it still is maintaining this 219.79 right here right now. Right, it did close a little bit below it yesterday, but pre-market we're still sitting above this 702. So unlike the SPY and the QQQ, this is actually still maintaining its support after it broke out, and perhaps it does not really need to back test any further. So I do like this development for IWM, which kind of implies more of a risk-on environment if this wants to keep on building the base at higher levels and not really back test lower. So good development for IWM, and SPY QQQ just cooling off a little bit. And Bitcoin, still range bound, right? There's nothing to really talk about with Bitcoin until it can start breaking above this 110 zone. Once it can start doing that, then we can talk about it. But right now, it's just range bound. And yes, the bottom of the range is still 105, maybe even the conversion line 105.1. And that has been the trend for the past few months. So be cautious until we can break above. Tracker. You are muted, my friend.
I am muted. I'm so sorry. I always try to mute myself so I don't accidentally make a bunch of noise while you're talking, and then you call for me and I forget to push my unmute button. All right, this is a chart that somebody requested from me, and I just looked at this and I said, no, this is hot garbage. Stay away. That was it. That was the whole chart. Oh wait, we're going to talk about Bitcoin first. No, I'm going to talk about the SPY and all that first. Then I'll do Bitcoin. So here's the SPY, and this is like my end of this is my whole pattern chart for the rest of the year. You are here, right? You're right here at 621.18 in pre-market, and what I did was I just took the whole pattern that we had from the August 6th carry trade. This one right here. I took this pattern from here to here, and I copied it and I put it right here. And so it's this gray feed that goes up and down and up and down. And what I think is the whole flavor of 2025 is sort of it's going to be an ending diagonal. I don't see how it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the fifth wave has like a 1, 2, higher 3, but then the 4 is lower than the 1. Well, that's all messed up. Like that's not the way a typical 5-way pattern is supposed to go. But a lot of times at the end of these patterns, you can get this ending diagonal, which for a lot of people in the micro level, like if you're looking at a minute chart, it starts to look like a bearish wedge up, and maybe we'll see that same thing where Cat likes to talk about the bearish divergence, where volume starts to drop lower as the price goes higher. Anyway, you can see there was a lot of movement from the August 7th carry trade, lots of profits to be made, but there could be a lot of sideways motion. So some of it's gonna, there might have to be some trading in and out. Even though, Matt will tell you just hang on, and you'll be fine. I will tell you, I would absolutely trade this in here. I'm not saying that the SPY is going down here to 595 next. This is just the pattern from the from August 6th. So the pattern we get could be completely different, but I do see there's just about 7.5% left to go to reach the theoretical top. It could melt up to 1618. I should keep that possibility in mind. That would take us to 694, 6,940 on the SPX. That's still only about 11.8% higher. The thing is that it's all going to be like sidewindering. So it's like if you could take this whole thing and, extend it out, then like this is the amount of gain you could be getting, but you've got to be able to get it by trading the swings. All right. The VIX here for this morning, they call this a synapse pattern. When you've got price, it gaps down, runs a little bit, gaps up, runs up, gaps down, runs back up again, but to a lower high. So I think that's what we got. We got a lower high, higher high, lower high, lower high. I think this could come up to the back test the 127.2 again to 1833. This time it ran up. This time it could just come right to it, and then we'll start gapping back down again. Or maybe just a nice rundown. Watch the take profits line down here at 1380 VIX. That's when I like to start going back towards cash. There is an extreme greed zone where you could make a ton of money, but you're also putting a lot of money at risk. All right, there's my hot take on the SPX and the SPY, and why I think it could be pretty choppy going into the end of the year, but very profitable. And then Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, I'm looking for one more higher low, kind of an ending diagonal situation where you can see the wave 4 is almost touching the wave 1. It shouldn't do that. There should be a lot more space in there. So I've got these fib retracements here, and I'm looking for maybe it to, let's see, this retracement goes from the wave 4 bottom here to the highest high we had since then. And wait, why are you? Oh no, I'm sorry. It goes from the top of wave 3 to the bottom of wave 4. That's what this retrace does, and it extended a little. It made a little higher high over the 100% line, but if it keeps losing levels, like it fell into the 786. I guess I should say this: if it never falls below the 886, we're fine, and it can just take off from there. But if we lose the 886 at 105,000, then watch it start to back test these red lines and fail until we get all the way down. The 298 maybe, 236 would be ideal. 114 would be super scary. Wait, that can't be right. 78,000. I'm sorry, that's terrifying. Let's just look for 618. Maybe just one more slightly lower, higher, low. There you go. And then finally Tesla. Where are you, Tesla? I'll just use this one. I'll talk about BTBT in a minute. Tesla, after we had this island bottom, and I showed you Gilligan's Island, it did run up, but it only made a higher low. It got stuck at this 382 extension fib and sent it back down. And now we're fighting. Oh, where's my mini boss? 764. There we go. The 11.4 mini boss at 298.55. That's what we're up against once again. So Gilligan did it again. We went down to 288. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it's got to get back above 298.55 to retest 305 to get us back to 321.55. And then eventually, my next target is up here at 350. Well, now it moved a little bit because we got a slightly higher low. 354.34 will be my next target after we get past the 11.4% mini boss at 298.55. And back to you, Matt.
Yeah, so I'll check out my Tesla chart here as well. So let's go switch it over. So here's Tesla on the weekly chart, and we can see pre-market it's back at 296. But the important thing is, I think, is just still watching the 618 zone, the 295 right here, and that's exactly where it is pre-market. So 295 zone. I would like to see stability on top of it throughout the whole week, right? If we can start to see that, things can be fine. And then we can even add the 2-week Ichimoku cloud here, and we can just see what price did yesterday. It wicked through the 2-week conversion line down there at 290.98, and it's still stabilizing above it. So really, when you look at the grand scheme of things from a 2-week basis, we can see that price just did a huge breakout, huge back test of the 50%, came up exactly to the 786, never really closed a 2-week candle above it. Then it just came back to the 618. Right, this is all prices really has been doing. It's not making lower lows, right? It's not making lower lows from back on June 9th. It's not going lower than May 27th, right? It's basically from the bottom, bunch of higher lows. So people that are screaming it's a bearish chart, they don't understand market structure, because the market structure is bullish, right? Something that from 2021 was lower highs and lower lows is now the exact opposite: higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and we're just doing another higher low before we make another higher high in the future. So very, very bullish development. This is still in a very nice accumulation zone. If it ever did go back to these lows last week, I would think that would be rare, but that would be a super big opportunity in my opinion. And I would probably add a lot more to my position if it did do that. But it's never a guaranteed, right? Everybody's saying, oh, I'll wait for lower. I'll wait for 250. I'll wait for this. Well, usually when you say you're going to wait for all these levels, when that time comes, you're not going to buy. And even if you do buy, you'll probably just buy just a tiny amount, and accumulate during this zone is more powerful because then you can actually take advantage with more shares when price reverses. So that's always been my strategy, and I think it's going to pay off big for Tesla in the future, because once it breaks this 340, 350 zone, I think it'll be a very explosive stock once again, but just not there yet. Still in a support zone.
Where's your 141 again?
The 141 on linear scale here is 548, but log scale is a little bit different story, right? So it just depends on what you're looking at. But yeah, I'll check out BTBT as well. And I know people were excited about it, but the time to really be excited about it was down here, right? And this is when I really talked about it on my Patreon, because not only did it go back and backtest that 45-degree angle for the second time since April, right? Breakout backtest. But also it was a huge demand zone right here with all this previous resistance right here, flipping to support. So you got confluence of everything. So this is the exact area that me and my Patreon tier 4 people were buying, right? I said, this is the opportunity. Who cares about the news if they were transitioning, and actually that news turned out to be more bullish than anything. But during that news, it just tanked it right back down to the 45. So that was the time to get excited for me. Now we're at resistance up here, and exactly pre-market is the bottom of the cloud, right? That's exactly the bottom of the cloud. So if people are looking to buy right now, this is kind of resistance. And I do not buy resistance. I actually do not buy anything that has already broken out. So where would the opportunity be? Well, perhaps back down to 311 or maybe even 290s if it ever came to backtest this arc, but it's never a guarantee to come. That's why you got to just accumulate when things are in a beautiful zone, previous support and a symmetrical support at the same time. So tracker.
Yes, thank you, Matt. Here's my BTBT chart right here. And I got to invoke the church lady because look, a price gap, convenient price gapped over the 236 fib extension, did the run up here to the dropped back down, then ran up to the 382 again, and all this pre-market, all this after hours and pre-market action, I think is just to try to lure you back into buying the top before it drops it down again. Now, if it makes a new higher high during the regular session this morning, then maybe it will go to the 618 at 526. But just looking at Matt's chart, it kind of does look like it just threw a wick into the cloud and is ready to go back down. So I'm betting that it's going to drop to 305, a retest of the 236. Basically, it was a 382, 236, which means the next target's going to be the 123.6. That's 188% higher to get there. But 305 is my ideal target. Not many orders will probably get filled at 305. I'll probably try to buy between 315 and 309 or something like that. But there you go. BTBT, I think 305 is your re-entry point, and that will perfectly close the gap that it made right here, which is why the church lady's right here. How convenient. All right, and then, 882 is next from 305, so that'll be marvelous. Let's see. What else in the request? See. KWM. I have this chart. This was actually the first request of the day on the YouTube channel. You can always come into the YouTube channel early before the show starts and then put in your request, so you'll be like first in line. KWM, I think it completed the 1-2 already with the 32236. That's not to say that it couldn't go to the 618 and then come back to the 236 again, but right now, I don't know if if Bitcoin does make one more higher, lower, higher low, then maybe it comes back and just makes a retest of 23.6 of 425. But if it keeps running, that'll be great. This is just another one of those Bitcoin, Michael Saylor or Me Too's. My ultimate target next is the 123.6 up here at 1121. And that is from where prices now in pre-market, about 103% higher. So even if you bought now and watch it drop down, but held through it, you will get rewarded in the end. So there you go, KWM, K-Wave Media. I could do Soxel too, Matt, or do you want me to let you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do. Okay, here is my Soxel chart. I need to go to a bigger chart. Soxel on the 16-minute chart. Oh man, this is really tough. It came back to like 710 twice almost. It's almost like it got a restart of the whole pattern. So I think I've got two patterns here. Why is it? It looks like TradingView added something new. Like if you hold the left mouse button down long enough, it pops this up for you. But I find that annoying because I'm always dragging with my left mouse button. Gosh, it looks like I'm going to have to redraw Soxel. But I think basically this is still almost about right. I would just say, you looking at the retracements on the left here, it's fighting with 2884. Once it can get over 2884, this 382, then it'll run right up to the 702 next at 5273. And if it can get a little higher, my pattern had it going to the 786 at $59 and then dropping back down to the 50% level. See how I color my retracement fibs differently? That's not like an accident. It's not because I think these colors are pretty. These are actual patterns that I want. A 786 goes back to the 50, and then from the 50, then it breaks out to 141.4. If it goes up to the 50 and can't get higher, it will send it all the way back down to the 11.4 down here in red. All right, there you go. That is Soxel.
Yeah, I got Coinbase on
How about
deck. Oh, there's
Go ahead.
RKT as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do Coinbase. So Coinbase, I'm still looking at this 344.37 as your high time frame support zone right here, 344.37. It's basically the previous resistance flipping to support. So it already went back down there last week, so it's not really guaranteed to go back down there again. So it was a breakout. It was a back test. Now this is showing some stability on top of the 786. So the next big hurdle is going to be this 384.17 up top. Try to break above that. Once it does, it's all-time highs, right? It'll be like Robin Hood just flying past all-time highs and maybe going up to the 500s, maybe the 600s and above. And I think it's a very beautiful chart and just got to have some patience to break out. But this already has had pretty massive move, a 20%, 27% candle, 14% candle. And I think it's just continuing to consolidate at higher levels before it's ready to continue higher. And I do show RKT as well, or I have this chart as well. And this is just stuck in a range between the 236 and the 100-week moving average. Down here, 1322, 1302. This zone right here is your support. Basically, all of this is resistance from 1430 up to 1471. So until it can really flip this 1471 to a support, I think it's just going to be range bound and maybe pretty boring. Big resistance right here. Resistance, resistance, resistance. So if it can't break above, it just might just be stuck in a range until it gets a chance to break free.
Woo. Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, great. Here's my SBET chart. We were just talking about SBET here. Yes, I'm looking for a higher low near 11, maybe 11:59. This is a 16-hour chart, and I was just thinking that maybe I want to tell you this one thing. When the market opens this morning, I think it might I think stocks will go up a little bit to try to pump things up before it like loses momentum and then starts to go back down again. So whatever position you're in, there's a good chance you'll be able to make some profit on it before having to, if you're going to swing it, before having to swing lower. Why does my Ichimoku look like it's absent? Anyway, oops. So SBET, I'm looking at this right here, and this is the 16-hour Bollinger Band. That's the 21 simple moving average right there. What if price runs right to the 1168 at 1546 at the open, and then drops us back down to 50%? See, that's this red one right here. So that's another red one. If it goes to the 1168 but can't get to the 1272, sometimes it comes all the way back down to the 50%. So maybe I'm just going to do this. Maybe it goes to 1159 was one of the possibilities I was looking at here. And then from there it does go. It'll get over the 141. 1768 is my target here. Then 1520. Then 2418 for the 2382 on the extension side. It's almost the 2618 on the retracement side. So it actually might melt up to 2477. All right, that's my SBET. Oh, I wanted to show you guys BTBT again because that same idea I was just talking about. Did I draw it on this chart? I drew it on one of my charts. And I wonder if it saved it. I just want to close this Bollinger Band. So once again, here I wrote that how a new higher high could mean that it's going to go to the 618. Well, it might just come up here and make a higher. Watch for this Ichimoku baseline right here, right? Probably could come up over the 382 again to get people all juiced up. It could even come up to this fib retracement at 399. It could come. See, this is the it put a toe over the 50% retracement, but then lost it. And what if it comes back up and it can't get over it? Well, that could send it back down again to this. Now I can't see it under here, but I think that's the 29 point whatever. Anyway, yeah, still looking for 305 for BTBT. All right, I just wanted to be clear about that, so you wouldn't like sell now in pre-market and then like, no, it went up. He told me to sell and it went up.
Yeah, I got Soundhound.
Oh, someone asked me about ASS.
Okay.
Yeah, do it. Do the
Soundhound
thing. You do it.
and AMD. So Soundhound, we can see that it's stuck in a range, and really the range it's stuck in is between these two fibs, the 961 and the 1293 here. So this is just the range bound stock. Lots of resistance coming up. You even got the baseline that it is at pre-market, right? The baseline's at 1209. It's at 1217 pre-market, so it's just right at that zone. Then you got the arc at 1260s, then you got the 1290s up here, then you got the bottom of the cloud. So it's a big zone that it's in. But ultimately, it can't really get more bullish until it starts breaking above this 1293. So that's going to be the big focus there. The 886, break above that, it can get more bullish. Otherwise, it's just stuck in a range still, getting closer and closer to all this massive resistance. And AMD right here, we can see that price did go back down to retest almost the 131.85 yesterday. It got down to 133.50. So it's still not there, but also it's still not even that bullish yet because it's getting kind of rejected by the cloud, right? So we need to have some kind of confirmation that it really wants to start to close weekly candles inside the cloud here before it gets more bullish. So the bottom of that cloud does sit around current price pre-market. So we'll see, right? If it can stabilize on top of the cloud, on top of this 100-week moving average at 136.28, then there's a potential that the back test could be completed. But if it starts to close underneath both of these, then I suspect a lower back test would happen, maybe 131, maybe even into the 120s as well. So we'll see. We'll have to wait and see how this weekly candle closes, if it actually indeed can close back inside the cloud and above that 100 SMA. All right, Tracker, back to you.
Thank you, Matt. I've got AST. I wish Kat was here for that. It's ASST, Asset Entities, and I just quickly did a fib retracement from the 33.5 cent low back to the $34.90 high, and this is what we get. It's it back tested its own 382. It went lower than the 236 down to the 11.4 mini boss, and it beat it. And now we're back up here. We're just stuck under this 298, which could send it back to the 23. What already did send it back to 236. It just has to get over. It has to do 382 next. So 382 is my target. And look how my fib extensions worked out from this low to this high to this higher low. The 764 takes you right to 1368, which is almost exactly the 382. Then back to the 382, which lines up with just a little bit lower than the 236 on the left. Then the 1382, 100, and 2382, which gets you right back to the 100% the all-time high. So there you go, asset entities. I should color this black. Take a screenshot because it's so pretty and it'll last longer. All right, asset entities. I should give you a percentage for you so you can compare apples to apples. That wave one is approximately, I didn't get the exact pixel on the bottom there, or the pixel on the top, about 170, 180 to the wave 3 top, and 6% higher to the wave 5 top. What else? Here, this is part of why, if you guys watch the show every day, this is part of why I was thinking that Bitcoin might want to come back down again, just because, IREN, it blew past, what am I trying to say? It overran the market. It overran what was going on. Runs all the way up here, almost, just over the 618, and I'm looking for it to get sent back down to, let's see, on my extension side, it was like a 764. The 382 is where this would typically, here 1073. It's possible if we get another higher high today at the open, if it goes to the 702 at 2014 at the 100% fib extension, maybe it comes only down to 1247, the 50% side. So that is another possibility. But otherwise, I don't know, you can take a screenshot of this. I think if it goes to the 100, then it'll come down to the 50. And then after that, the 50 will catch it and it'll make a new higher high. Alternatively, it could get caught at this 50% retrace level for support at 1464, and that would send it over the 886 to the 1. So anyway, there you go. Watch these fibs on the left here, basically. All right, back to you, Matt.
Yeah, I see
Or I
another
can.
request for CYFRF and Soul Strategies. Yeah, this one has been sideways for a long time. I mean, it is kind of just correcting through time ever since it kind of broke out back in October 2024. It's been maintaining this 98-cent zone. Every time it got back down there, it held. But there's a lot of resistance above, so I think it still might just maintain a sideways price action for some time until it's able to break higher. So support right here, 148. Resistance, everything above, right? Everything from 180 up to 220, 235, 258, and then you got this 1.618 fib at 265. So big resistance zone, and ultimately you're not going to get any kind of breakout until at least that fib gets flipped to a support, and that is 265. So range bound, closer to support than it is resistance. But ultimately, the true high time frame support has identified itself as this 98-cent zone. So if it ever did lose that 148, it might go back and retest this low, but it's never guaranteed to go that low. So range bound still holding 148, and if that continues to hold, it can start to try to break that resistance above. All right, go ahead, tracker. I see people are asking
I'm so
about
pleased to.
BBAI.
Oh yeah, I'll do BBAI right after this. I want to show my Solana chart. I was really excited to draw this up. And Matt, you don't have to show your Solana chart, but if you want to take a look at my chart and see if it jives with yours at all. So Solana, it made this higher high and this higher low. So as long as it make a new lower higher low than 95.16, my next target is 204.79. It tests back to 162.89. Then on up higher to 449.89 for the 123.6 fib. Back to the 764 at $314.43. And up to the 2236 at $73. I'm sorry, $736.89. And that sort of lines up with the 2886 for the whole retrace from its original high to its original low. You can see how it went to the 1168 and then got sent back down. It lost the 50 and now it's trying to recapture the 50 right now at 134. Once 134 holds, then it'll send it over the 141 or up to the 141, I should say, and beyond. I don't know. What do you think, Matt? Does it look like your Solana at all?
My Solana is just
Mine's a
basically
linear chart.
Mine's just stuck at like 155, 156, and when it can break that 156, then I think it's going to 170s again. But until then, it's just range bound, just like everything else in the crypto market. It's just range bound.
Got it. Okay, Big Bear AI. I love this company because I love drones and technology, and they also love drones and technology, and they help police the seas. They're making naval drones for countries, and there's the 75% of or more of the Earth's surface is covered by water, so it's a lot of ground to cover. And if you can't fly drones forever because it's really energy intensive, but they can float forever. It doesn't cost any power except to just keep them on navigating on track. Big Bear AI, from this wave 1 to this wave 2, it has already completed a 618, and now it's heading back to the 236. Let's look at my 16-hour chart. Let's see. It did a 382, 236. Well, see, actually, this is one of those things where 36 is done. I could be going to the 1236 next, or the 618 can be resistance at 812, and it sends it back down to the 236 at 455. So just look out for this. I would say if it breaks out significantly, really, if it breaks out higher than 948, then it's going to run to the 123.6. If it doesn't break over 948, and in fact, if it retests 812 in the this morning at the market open and it can't go higher, expect to see it get it won't go in a straight line. It'll be like it'll just keep selling off and selling off until it gets to 450 target, to a beautiful place to re-enter Big Bear AI, because then after that price will take it so much higher. All right, I just need a new one of these. let's see, from the 23.6 fib to the 123.6 fib is 205% higher. That's a nice gain. Double your money. All right, back to you, Matt.
Yeah, I'll do one more
Oh, it's
because
904.
I'm gonna run away. But my last one is gonna be Oscar, and what Oscar did is a big breakout back
Oh,
test,
yeah.
right? So we got the breakout, got the back test of the 50-week moving average right here, and that was $16. So nailed it perfectly, right? It went down to 15.95 and held. So now pre-market, we're back basically above the baseline near the cloud. So we're kind of in still a zone that might be difficult to break above, but if can start to close above at least like the 16.99 day over day, then perhaps it can go back to its 786 fib above. So it's a bullish chart, right? It never was a bearish chart. It was always about just maintaining all of this support down here. So we got the breakout, we got the back test completed. Now is the opportunity to basically break this resistance above. So until then, it's probably just going to be range bound, maybe between the 18s and the 16s down here, maybe even wick down to the 15s again if it wants to. But nothing exciting yet until this 1992 can get broken. And I see some questions: would I buy Tesla or TSLL if it went lower? I mean, maybe both, right? Maybe both. But there is no, uh, no, nothing I wouldn't buy if it dropped below like 290. Right? I would buy Tesla, TSLL, all that stuff because accumulation is the goal. And low gains, I see a question: what's the book on GAN? I'm not sure if I remember the name, but the best education on how to set up your charts is my trading course on Patreon. So there we go. There's a plug for you
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
And Tracker, go ahead and take us out.
I've taken that course. It's a fan. I took the version 1.0 of that course. It was fantastic then. I can't wait to take the new course. This is XRP by request and by my own personal passion. I love tracking this now. Um, let's see. It's having trouble with this 23.6 fib on the extension side. And looking back at, this is also my 50% extension. No, that's a retracement. So I'm thinking this candle right here, I'm trying to figure out which is the best view to show you guys this. I was still playing it when Matt was talking. Right here, I think it kind of retested the 50% level. It did get this candle, a wick that closed and went higher. But I feel like it might be running out of steam a little bit. And we did get this liquidity grab here where it ran up and a bunch of people, um, I don't know, shorts got burned or whatever. And I'm looking for this test back right here in the daily chart, right back to the 50% fib. I'm looking for XRP to do one more one more lower, higher low to $202.13, 0.34, right to this daily Ichimoku baseline and this 50% retracement fib. A clean touch of that, and you can see the cloud does kind of support that. A clean touch of that, and then we can go and make that move to break out over the 141.4 fib. So last thing on XRP. If you guys enjoy my charts or Matt's charts, please subscribe to us. Matt has a Patreon and with an associated Telegram. You can talk to him in live one-on-one chat and all the other great people that are in his Telegram. Or you can subscribe to me on X. It's still just $3 a month. Yeah, you can get access to all my charts or ask me to chart anything. I take requests all day long on there, just like I do right here on this show once a morning. And again, there won't be any Triumvirate show tonight. We're going to take the night off. You kind of got the preview right at the beginning of the show of what that would have looked like. And yeah, but we'll be back tomorrow, Matt and me.
Yep. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.
Yep. Thank you again, Matt. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Good luck, everybody.